Hey, I'm Dean, and this is Legacy Voyage. In season one, I'm documenting my journey to earning my first 100K net worth as a full time college student. Join me as I share some of the lessons I learned along the way. Today, I'm going to share how this uncommon skill will open locked doors that you never thought were possible. And I think I'm going to call this the Book of Mormon musical story because yesterday I just went to a musical and I'm going to tell the backstory behind that. So, to start off, I guess it really goes back to when I first came out here to visit Chicago. And when I came out here to visit Chicago, I saw one of the signs that was for a musical that was running over here. And the musical was the Book of Mormon musical. I was like, man, I gotta check that out. It sounds awesome. But at that point, I really wasn't into musicals. But it wasn't until I got back, and then I was scrolling through Netflix. And you know, when you're scrolling through Netflix, you're not really sure because there's so many options that you don't know what to watch, and then you finally click something, and then you give it a watch for like 10 minutes, and then you decide you hate it. And well, I was in that phase. I was scrolling through Netflix, and I found this thing. It was it was like a green big fat dude. It was Shrek. Like what the heck? So I clicked on the Shrek, and I guess it's like a musical of Shrek. So it's called Shrek the Musical, which is on Netflix. And I was obsessed with this show or with the musical. I mean, I was literally getting to the point where I would measure increments of time by the amount of times I would have to watch Shrek the Musical. Because it was a long musical, like a cool 2.5, 3 hours type. And I guess, it's kind of like how your favorite show, your favorite show, it's like, I don't know, Grey's Anatomy, and it's probably 40-ish to an hour long episodes. So you start measuring time like, oh, if I if this long drive takes 4 hours, that's 4 episodes of Grey's Anatomy, something like that. That's how I was with Shrek the Musical. I would literally measure time in Shrek the Musicals. There was this one time where I was catching a flight. It was like a 6 hour flight. I was like, oh, okay, 6 hours. That's not too bad because that's just what two times watching Shrek the Musical, and literally on the flight I watched Shrek the Musical twice. That's how I was a weird little kid. I still am pretty weird about, I don't know. I just really love me some musicals. And then the other time I was super obsessed because I go through phases with these, man. I watch a musical, then I get super obsessed with the song that are in the musical, and then I keep replaying the songs over and over. It's kind of like how you have your favorite songs and you're obsessed with this song, and then you play the song over and over when you're in the shower, when you're in the car, when you're working out, like all these times that you play over and over again. And then you get to the point where, man, I do not want to listen to the song again. I hate this song, and then you just get sick of it. That's how I am with musicals, and that's how it was. So I went through like Shrek the Musical, Hamilton, In the Heights, Into the Woods, all these things. There's even a musical, Princess Diana, the one who she like overthrew the queen or something like that. The one who I forgot her story, but she has a crazy story about the queen and something like that. But there's even a musical about her life and her story. So I watched that, I got super into that. But the thing was that I never got to see a musical in person. Well, not one that I haven't seen before, because I remember in LA I went to go see Shrek, or not Shrek the musical, Hamilton. I went to see Hamilton live in person, and it was amazing. But the thing was, I already saw it on the show, so it was, I don't know, I wasn't really surprised by it or anything. But I never went to a musical blind that I'd never seen before until I came out here for school. So I came out to Chicago area for school, and then a friend texts. He's like, "Hey, I know you're super into musicals. We should go watch this thing called Les Mis." And Les Mis is a musical. It's like a bro. It's fantastic. The story, the songs. It's amazing. But I go check out this musical in person live, and it's amazing, man. We go downtown to the city, we take the train, and we watch it, and it's great. And then I remember all those years back when I first visited Chicago, I remember seeing that sign that said the Book of Mormon musical. I was like, oh man, I feel like it'd be sick to check it out. So then uh I told my friends about it. Hey, we should make this like a quarterly thing. Every quarter we come and we watch a musical. Not only that, but I'd love to check out the Book of Mormon musical. But I didn't really know how to do it. Like I didn't know when we could watch it, where to buy the tickets, when it was going on, when I would even be available to watch it. But then he, the same friend, he texts. He's like, "Hey, are you down to go watch Book of Mormon musical?" I was like, "Oh my goodness, it's perfect." So I would get back for spring quarter, and then we go check out this musical, and it would be amazing. I was like, "That's awesome." That's what we did. He bought the tickets, and then I Venmo him. We catch the train, and the plan was to leave for the musical by 6. So we would be out the house, leaving, gonna get to the musical at 6, watch the musical, take the train back. No problems. It would all be a nice, easygoing day. But then I realized that I had rugby practice. I was like, man, freaking love rugby, but I really want to go watch this musical, so it's whatever. So I skipped rugby. Man, yeah, I skipped rugby. And then not only that, but I realized that I had to finish an essay by that night. So, so right before we leave at 6, I'm over there grinding on my essay, trying to get it done before 6. I'm like, man, I can't get this done because by the time we get back to the house, it's probably gonna be like midnight. So I'll be super tired and I'll knock out by then. But I have a 9 a.m. class the next day. And all these things are going through my mind. Oh my goodness, how am I gonna get this work done? How am I gonna wake up tomorrow for class? How and go watch this musical? I was stressing out, and then I figure out, maybe I can bring my laptop to the musical, and then I can work on it on the train while we're on the way there. And it shouldn't be too big of a deal. So then, and we figure it out. I find my laptop bag, my laptop sleeve, and I put it in there. And at this point, I'm like, man, you know how there's just it's kind of like that party that you really want to go to, and you already agreed to it, but everything says that you probably shouldn't go. Like I had the essay I had to write, I had rugby that I really wanted to go to, I had a 9 a.m. class the next morning. All these things that were saying, no, I probably shouldn't go, but I pushed through, and I still went to the musical. So it's 6 a.m. now. We're leaving the house and we catch the train. And while we're on the train, I pull out my laptop. I start grinding on my essay. I gotta get this done. Gotta get this done before I get back. So we finally finish up. We arrive to the heart of Chicago, and as we get off the train, we're walking through Chicago trying to find the theater. And man, walking through Chicago is insane. It's like your first time visiting Disneyland as a kid, where you look up and then you see this huge castle. But it's not only one huge castle, there's like 10 or 20 or like 50 huge castles around you, and everywhere you look, there's a bigger and bigger castle. And these buildings are ginormous, they're beautiful, the architecture is amazing. And as we're walking, I'm just literally dozing off. I'm looking at all these big, high buildings, and I'm dozing off while we're trying to walk. And we're in the city, and in the city, if you know anything about, New York, Chicago, people love jaywalking. And one of the dudes I was with, we were literally at a red light. It was turning red, and this dude just ran it. So he straight up jaywalk, and jaywalking in the city is actually insane to me. It's because it's technically illegal, but everyone does it. It's like speeding, how everyone speeds. I mean, I usually go like 5 over, 7 over if I'm pushing it, but then the cops will come blazing past me like 15 over. That's like jaywalking in the city. It's so normal nowadays. But as we're trying to get to the theater, we're walking, I'm dozing off, people are jaywalking, I'm like, man, what the heck? So what's this whole adventure that we have to go through to get to the theater? And then I'm like, man, we finally get to the theater, And even getting to the theater was a whole process, but trying to find your seat when you're in the theater, that's a whole 'nother process. It's like it's like the first day of school, when to a brand new school and you pull up and you have never toured the school before and you don't know where any of your classes are and you just get lost. Like I remember we had to climb like 3 flights of stairs. Oh, we finally get to the top of the third flight of stairs. I'm puffing, a little sweaty. I got my jacket on, skin's a little red, a little sweat running down my face. Like that's how I was. So we finally get here, and this was the moment that I've been waiting for all night. I could finally relax. I could sit down, enjoy this musical for the next couple hours. And it's like, man, at this moment, this is what I've been waiting for. I rushed through my essay. I skipped rugby for this. I'm staying up late. I'm gonna be super tired for my 9 a.m. class the next morning. This is what it's all for. It's like it's like if you were stranded in a desert and you haven't drinking in days, and then you finally come to the point where you see this great river and this oasis that you find with clean, fresh drinking water. And then not only that, there's cups on the sides, and then you could just get a cup and you'll put it in the nice fresh water. Take a great sip of water. That's how I felt. Where I was like, this was the point I was waiting for. This is amazing. So we finally get there, and I sit down, and man, this musical is gonna be amazing. But the seats suck. I mean, these are literally the worst seats, the worst seats that you could possibly have at any type of theater. And I was devastated. I was like, oh my goodness, what the heck? What am I gonna do? It's just like if you can imagine this, let me try to lay this out for you. If you were getting on a plane, right? You're getting on the plane and you have your seat number, your ticket. So you try to find your ticket. You know you're not sitting first class, so you're walking on the plane, you see the first class seats, and man, it would be so nice to sit first class. See, they got all the leg room, they got the special treatment, they got all the things. Their seats go back like almost into a full extension bed. It's amazing. But you see that, you're like, "Oh, okay, okay." You know you're not getting that, so you're walking, trying to find your seat in the airplane. You're walking, you see all the normal seats, like, "Which one is mine?" And you're walking, and you keep walking until the end of the plane, and then you're there looking for your seat, and then you realize your seat is at the very last row. And if you don't know this, but the very last row is not where you want to be. First of all, those seats, they don't even recline, so you can't even put it back if you're super tired and even try to sleep. So they don't even give you the option to recline. And not only that, but the back row seats, they have just a little less leg room than all the other seats. So you're literally stuck with the worst of the worst seats in the entire plane. So like, oh my goodness, I got stuck with the worst seats. It's only our flight, it should be okay. And then you realize you got the middle seat. Like, oh my goodness. Not only do you have the the very last row, but you also have the middle of the aisle. It's just the worst combination of anything. And then as soon as you sit down, the 1 hour flight turns into a 3 hour journey because there's this whole delay that happens where as you sit down, they have to fix the plane and then you're sitting there super uncomfortable. You can't even knock out, you're super tired. And it's just that's literally how I felt. And then even to make it worse is that the window person seat, the window person, they tap you on the shoulder like, "Hey, can I use the bathroom?" Oh my goodness! Not only do they do it once, they do it twice. So it's just a combination of every terrible thing that can happen on a flight. That's literally how I felt with these back row seats. I mean, our theater seats were literally at the very top, climbing 3 flights of stairs at the very not only at the very top, but at the very last row. So literally the last row of the top. But not only that, it wasn't even like in the middle at the top, the last row. It was literally all the way to the right. So it was at the very top, uh, at the very back of the row, and then all the way to the right. So it was literally the worst combinations of everything that you would want in a theater, and it was it was these seats were terrible. And as I was sitting there, I was like, bro, there's no way that we sit in these seats and we watch this musical from literally like I need binoculars trying to watch the play because it's so far. Give me like a telescope or a zoom in camera because there's no way we watch this all the way through. And as we're sitting there, my friend, he's scrolling through his phone. He's looking at the signups for the seats for the theater, and he's looking at all the open seats. I was like, man, bro, those open seats, they're not even taken. We could just go and sit there, and they would not even catch us. And I was trying to figure out this way where I was trying to think, man, we got to get those seats. And when he was scrolling, it was like you know how you're scrolling through Amazon and you see all the dream stuff that you really, really want, but you can't afford. That's literally how it feels. We're broke college students just trying to watch this, and then we're scrolling through all the seats that we could have, like those front row seats that are amazing, but we can't afford it because we're broke college students, like stuff like that. And my mindset was like, bro, we cannot be sitting in these seats. We gotta find better open seats. How are we gonna do it? So so I'm looking at the website and I actually see these three open seats because I was in three. There's three of us. I was with two others, and then we're thinking, how can we do this? So I find these three open seats at the very bottom level, and it's not so obnoxious where it's like in the front row where people would catch us. It's like at the very back of the very bottom level, and it's kind of to the right a bit, but it's man, it's way better than where we're at right now. So I find those seats, and I'm like, how am I gonna get? Am I just gonna go in and lie and say I bought those seats? Am I gonna go in and how am I gonna do this? 'Cause I gotta figure out a game plan. So here was the game plan. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask. Like, what's the harm that comes in asking? Nothing good ever comes from not asking. I was like, I'm just gonna go down there, ask one of the ushers, hey, the seat's open. Can we sit in there? I was like, it should be okay. And then I'll tell my friends this, and they're like, "Bro, no, you should not do that. You will not get those seats. Do not go ask." And I was over there like, "Man, this is definitely gonna work." No, even before that, it was like I thought I had this great epiphany. I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go ask them." It's like when you're in the classroom and then you think your teacher asked a super easy question, and you definitely know the answer to it, so you raise your hand and you're a little confident. Your chin is up, a little smirk on your face, and then you say the answer, and then you realize you're completely wrong. That's literally how I felt. Where I thought I had this great epiphany. Oh, I would just go ask them, and then I can get those amazing seats. And it'll be amazing. And then the friends were like, "Bro, that's not gonna work." I was like, "Oh my goodness, now what are we gonna do? We're not gonna sit in these back row, terrible middle seats." It was no bueno, no bueno at all. So then, so then I was like, you know what? Why not just try, right? I'll just go try. So I finally make my way down, and this place, it's like a maze. I'm trying to figure out where to go, how to even get to the bottom floor. It's like the movie Maze Runner where the maze is literally shifting around you and you have no idea where you're going and it's like that's how I felt. It was a maze trying to get through this place. So I finally get there, I get to the bottom floor and I spot an usher. I was like, man, that's the usher I'm gonna go talk to. So I take a deep breath. I'm kind of nervous. I'm kind of nervous, and you gotta act like you belong there. So you gotta be confident. Stick your chin up a little, but on the inside you're super nervous. But you walk up with a sort of confidence, and then I walk up to this usher and I'm like, hey, how's it going? Nice to meet you. I put on the little caddy, my caddy experience type of welcome. I say it's super nice to meet you. I'm looking at the website, and those seats over there, they're actually empty, and they're gonna be empty all night. So if you're not opposed to it, would you mind if I just sat there? Because no one's gonna be there anyways. Might as well just have someone there. And I asked her this, and she's like, "Sure, why not?" I was like, "Really?" Yeah. And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, just go sit there." And then I was thinking, that was way too easy. There's no way it was that easy. Like something else bad has to happen because I can't just score those seats that well that quickly without even any effort. Because I was expecting her to object and be like, no, I might get in trouble for losing my job, and then I would have to be like, oh no, no, no worries, I would just go there, and then if someone asks us to move, we'll just go and leave, and it'll be okay. But she didn't have any objections. So it was amazing actually. I got those amazing seats. So I finally make my way there, and then I text my friends who are at the very top, come down here. We got amazing seats, and they were like, bro, no way, no way he just did that. And then in my mind, I was like, bro, this is amazing. This is exactly what it's all about. So finally, we get those amazing seats, and then we can watch the musical super up close, and then and it's amazing. It's actually hilarious. The Book of Mormon musical, it's quite an interesting play. I mean, it definitely makes fun of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or the Mormon Church, but it was hilarious. Like if especially growing up Mormon, there were so many jokes in there that I just immediately got because I knew the church and I grew up in it. But it was I guess the only critique that I would have of it is that it's not really it's never serious, like, at any point in the musical whatsoever, like, the entire thing is just, a joke and a laughing matter, and everything is all a joke, but I finally get to watch this musical, and by the end of it, I was like, "Man, that was awesome." So, that's what it was all for. So at the end of the day, and this is the big lesson that I have, is that I was able to watch this musical, and it was amazing, and it was awesome, but more than that is I I learned the lesson that nothing good ever comes from not asking. And you should always ask. Like, even if you're super nervous, even if you're not really sure what's going to happen, just go and ask. Because what's the worst thing you say? The worst thing you say is no, and then you just go and ask someone else. And if they say no, then you go and ask someone else. And then you just keep doing it and you just keep asking. And this is the uncommon skill that for me just opened locked doors that I never even thought were possible. And that's one of the big lessons to take away from this story. But yeah, I hope the storytelling there wasn't too bad because I'm really trying to get good at telling stories and people being hooked into what I'm saying because I think telling stories is a huge part of communication and talking to people and getting your message across. That's why I'm really focusing on storytelling. But now for the life update, oh, let me think. Let me think. I guess today the life update would really be with philosophy, which is super interesting because my class, it's a philosophy of race class. And at first, the question is race a thing? Does race exist? What makes a race? I was thinking, of course race exists. I'm Tongan, other people are African, other people are Asian, other people are white, other people are black. Of course, races are a thing. That's a silly question to ask. And then I was thinking, why is this even relevant? I mean, what is figuring out if race exists? Why does that even matter if I'm trying to be successful in business or something like that? In business or trying to be successful making money or any other type of work. Like if I were to become a programmer, why does knowing that race exists or doesn't exist, how does that even apply? So one of the things I learned was that it's actually super important, super vital, because race literally dictates everything. I mean, not everything, but a lot of things and a lot of aspects of life. For example, it it dictates law. If someone how we perceive people, especially in business, it's like it's who do you work with, who do you serve as your customer, who do you partner with and go on ventures with, and who do you associate with. These are the type of things that are influenced by the idea of race or the concept of race. So that was a question that we were really that I was really trying to answer, and I think I did was that not the final answer does race exist or not, but it was that why is it important? Why is knowing that race exists? Why is that important? And I think that's the reason. Is because it it can definitely help us, or it can hold us back from doing the things that we want to. For example, one of the kids in the class, he keeps bringing up this idea of a power dynamic and this idea of you can't talk about race if you don't talk about a power dynamic that white people use to hold people of color down. And I'm like, bro, why do you keep bringing that up, dude? Like literally the entire time, the professor he's trying to teach about the concept of race, and he's talking about, well, how do we conceptualize race? How do we think of race? What even is race? And the kid is like, he raises his hand, he comes up with, well, I don't think we should talk about this if we're not going to talk about the power dynamic that white people hold to push people of color down. I was like, bro, that is such an unhelpful belief. That is such a destructive belief that is literally going to hold you back in life. Like, if my entire life as a Tongan, and I'm thinking, man, white people are out to get me. They're out there, scheming to put Tongans down, and they're constantly trying to hold us under, not keep us successful, and make sure we're poor. If my entire life I went through that mindset, imagine how broke I would be, like how unsuccessful I would be with my life. So it's like, I guess where I'm at right now is I feel like I've gotten to the point where it's like a success pragmatism, where you believe the things, or you hold the beliefs that are more likely to get you to your success. And success is different for a lot of people. For some people, like people who want to be professors, all they want to do is they want to go out and teach as many kids as possible, and then have those kids go and impact the world. Like a professor would want to go out and be like, no, one day I want to go and teach at Harvard and then do a whole bunch of studies there, and that's what I want to do with my life. And that's awesome. If that's what success is for you, hold the beliefs that you need to hold to get you to where you want to be. And that's where I'm at right now, where like I guess my definition of success would be impacting the world, or making a whole bunch of money to eventually be able to help and serve others. That's I think what my idea of success would be. And having the idea that white people are trying to hold us down, that is such a it doesn't help me in my achievement of the success. So I'm not going to hold that belief. And there's so many other false beliefs, not necessarily false, but so many other beliefs that I currently hold. I don't even know that I'm holding it, but beliefs like that are holding me back, and holding a lot of people back, probably, honestly. Yeah, but that's just something that I really want to talk about, because I think I'll talk about it more about what we talk about in the class. So, and then my thoughts on race in general, because honestly I don't know enough about historical context of white people holding people of color down, but it's just sounds like such a weak, not a weak mindset, but sounds like such an unhelpful belief to hold if you want to go out and impact the world. But I guess you could. Yeah, I think it really all just depends on what you define as success, what a successful life looks like to you. But yeah, those are just some of the thoughts I wanted to share. I hope the story came across well enough. I think I'm just gonna keep trying to tell stories, keep trying to get better at storytelling, and we'll see if I improve. We'll see if I fail. Everything has to come through failure. So that's that's my goal. I This podcast was low key a bit long, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm glad that I'm being more what's the word? More uh I forgot the word. More consistent, that's the word. I'm glad to be more consistent. I'll see you guys on the next episode, but till then, talk to you.